About a year and a half ago, Winter Park Resort unveiled an absolutely massive master plan with some incredibly transformative upgrades planned. Fast forward to now, and the first of those projects is already under construction. As a Winter Park regular, I wonder how much, if at all, these potential upgrades will actually heighten the skiing experience. In this video, we'll be discussing just that as we break down the Winter Park Master Plan. One thing I should make clear from the start is that this master plan is in no way, shape, or form a guarantee of the projects that will happen at Winter Park in the near and/or long-term future. All ski resorts have master plans, and a lot of those master plans are never fully realized. It's unlikely that such a huge master plan as this will get full build-out exactly the way it's designed, but it's still possible, so we're going to talk about the hypothetical. As of right now, Winter Park has a comfortable carrying capacity of over 15,000 skiers per day. But what is comfortable carrying capacity? Comfortable carrying capacity is an algorithm used by ski resorts to determine how many skiers can be accommodated without the mountain feeling overrun. There are many different algorithms, but they all factor in skiable acreage, lift capacity, and facilities capacity. At full build-out, that is, if every project in the master plan is built, the skiable acreage of the area will be increased by over 350 acres, and the carrying capacity would be increased to 22,000 skiers. The first project of the master plan is the replacement of the old Pioneer Express quad with a detachable 6-seater that has a mid-station at the top of the much-abhorred Big Valley Runout in the Vasquez Ridge territory. This lift, the Wild Spur Express, is nearing completion and will be a stalwart of the Winter Park lift fleet for years to come, providing easy access to lapping the Blue Cruisers on Vasquez Ridge and eventually also providing access to a Vasquez Mountain expansion. And of course, it'll be huge to not have to waste time and energy to skate and push the whole way down Big Valley. However, Wild Spur may very well be the first of many additions in this area of the mountain. Enter the Vasquez Mountain expansion. This Vasquez Mountain terrain expansion would encompass over a dozen new intermediate trails served by a pair of six-packs, all to the looker's right of the current boundary. This terrain would be able to be accessed either from the top of Wild Spur via a new trail here, or by a new access lift departing from the bottom of Wild Spur. The master plan says that the access lift would be a detachable 6-pack as well, but in all likelihood it would actually be a fixed grip quad or something of the likes. This massive new mountain zone at full build out would include new lodges at both the top and bottom. Together, the 3 lifts anchoring this expansion would have an absolutely mammoth capacity somewhere in the ballpark of 8,000 people per hour. For comparison, the combined hourly capacity of the main out-of-base lifts, Gemini, Arrow, and the Gondola, is, at max, 7,200 people per hour. This means that in all likelihood, the Vasquez Mountain part of the resort wouldn't suffer from too long of lift lines, especially the Vasquez East lift because it doesn't serve as much terrain as the main lift. I believe that the one major thing Winter Park lacks in is lappable groomers. As of right now, the only places on the mountain with true blue groomer pods are Sunnyside and Wild Spur. This expansion would hugely increase the Blue Cruisers. Assuming that Winter Park, the city of Denver, Alterra, or whoever else is funding these projects doesn't cheap out and builds all 3 lifts, all of the trails, and both lodges, this expansion would highly elevate the intermediate experience. One of the more overlooked aspects of this master plan is this little lift at the top of the Vasquez Mountain expansion. I hate this lift. I've heard that a lot of locals do too. This lift is a high alpine T-bar or surface lift that will provide easy access to the cirque. On paper, this sounds great. You eliminate the long hike from the top of Panoramic, get those people out of the Pano line, and allow for much quicker laps on the cirque. However, the problem is this. Wherever there is a lift, there will be someone who will take it who is ill-prepared for the terrain it serves. You see this a lot at Breckenridge, where people get on the Imperial lift because it's there and then don't know how to get down because they're not experts. And I fear that the exact same will happen if this cirque access lift is constructed. Now, let's talk about the biggest of all of the projects in this master plan, the Town Gondola. The Town Gondola is something that has been talked about and rumored for a long time. It's finally in the plans, a massive 10-person machine with the capacity the same as the existing gondola, which so happens to be one of the highest capacity gondolas in the United States, running from downtown Winter Park to a new on-mountain hub called Cooper Creek Summit. At Cooper Creek Summit, there'd be a skier services building and a bunch of summer activities. From here, skiers would then be able to disperse onto the mountain to a variety of different chairlifts. At full speed, the ride from the town would take less than 10 minutes, which is significantly less than it currently takes to ride the bus or drive from the town, park, and walk through the village. This would be so much more convenient for everyone staying in the town, so I find it absolutely crucial that of all the projects in this master plan, this one is built. It is predicted that over a quarter of Winter Park skiers would access the mountain from the town gondola. In addition to the gondola, there would be a pair of long runouts to take skiers back to the town. One would come from Cooper Creek and the other would come from the Vasquez Mountain expansion zone. The one from Vasquez Mountain would require a short surface lift partway down. To be honest, I'm not sure if these runouts would actually be built, especially the one from Vasquez. Even if they are built, I think they'd have poor snow for a lot of the season, so most people are going to be taking the gondola down. Of course, this Cooper Creek summit area would need a lot of support. In this master plan, that comes in the form of another gondola and a new high-speed quad. This new gondola would be an 8-seater with a modest capacity, running from the Winter Park base to the Discovery Park Learning Center, turning and continuing up to Cooper Creek Summit. With this gondola, a vast majority of riders would board at the Winter Park base and get off at either the Learning Center or at Cooper Creek Summit, but it could also be used to ride from the town gondola down to the Learning Center or all the way to Winter Park Village. The lower stage of this gondola would replace the Gemini lift. This will also be a great addition for ski school and beginners and will provide easy access to the Vasquez Mountain Zone out of the Winter Park base. Overall, this smaller gondola is a crucial piece in maintaining the flow within the existing infrastructure with so many other major additions to the resort. The other Cooper Creek project is a short high-speed quad originating from partway between Olympia and Wild Spur. This lift, Cooper South, would be an indirect replacement of the Looking Glass lift, whose removal is part of the master plan as well. This isn't a huge, flashy project like the two gondolas, but it is a necessary link between Cooper Creek and the rest of the resort. I really like these short, empty laps you can get on Looking Glass, but hopefully this Cooper South lift will have its own character that will match that of the old double. Another overlooked piece of the master plan is the reimagining of the Discovery Park Learning Center. The lift fleet at the area would be completely modernized, with a shorter high-speed quad replacing the Endeavor Triple and a higher capacity fixed-grip quad replacing the Discovery Double. I would assume that Discovery would receive a loading carpet to make getting on the chairlift easier, but because Endeavor will become detachable and thus will slow down for loading and unloading, it wouldn't surprise me if Endeavor becomes the main lift and Discovery only runs on peak days, which is the opposite of how it currently is. The new Learning Center would also have a trio of new magic carpets. This follows the trend of ski resorts like Steamboat moving their learning centers higher up on the mountain, accessed by a gondola. It may replace Sorensen Park and the rest of the learning center down at the base area entirely. This will be a huge step up in the learning experience at Winter Park. Jumping over to Mary Jane territory, there is only one major project, and to be honest, I personally doubt that this project will ever be built, at least not how it is in the master plan. The master plan proposes a detachable 6-pack to replace the underutilized Pony Express and Iron Horse double chairs. This lift would run up the Pony Express line and have a mid-unload angle station there before a second stage goes up to the current Iron Horse unload. This would take pressure off of Super Gauge, which gets overwhelmed all of the time. However, the huge expense to have an angled mid-station just makes me think that this lift won't be built, or will be built without the mid-station. Either way, this lift will be a great addition, making it easier to lap all of the infamous Jane Mogul Blacks and additionally, will decrease the congestion at the Mary Jane base. Something I find very interesting is that the Olympia Express isn't getting replaced in this master plan. This doesn't mean they won't do it, but it certainly seems to me that they believe the Cooper South lift and the Vasquez expansion and Wild Spur lift will take away the traffic that currently makes Olympia one of the worst choke points on the mountain. Only time will tell how well that works. They're also neglecting a lot of their detachable quads that are starting to get on the older side. As such, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a High Lonesome or Prospector upgrade thrown in the middle of the build out of the master plan, just purely out of necessity for maintenance cost. The master plan also includes a multitude of smaller projects that, altogether, will provide a huge enhancement to the Winter Park experience. One of the projects that will most likely go unnoticed but will provide a huge change for the better is the replacement of the Lariat rope tow with a magic carpet. I hate the rope tow, as do many other people, but you have to take it to get to Sunspot from Lunch Rock or Olympia. Taking a magic carpet will be so much easier and nicer. Another of the small projects is the regrading of a ton of the uphill and flat spots throughout the mountain. There will be a small parking addition at the Mary Jane base as well. Two of the more notable projects is a renovation of the Snowasis and Sunspot lodges. These lodges are super convenient in their locations, so getting a refresh will make these awesome spots to warm up or eat a snack. And of course, as is with any ski resort master plan nowadays, this master plan includes a ton of new snowmaking. The major areas to note that will receive snowmaking are the Groomers and Mary Jane territory, the Upper Olympia pod, and a large part of the Cooper South and Vasquez Mountain expansions. All in all, this master plan has the potential to completely change the winter park skiing experience for the better. The Town Gondola and Vasquez Mountain expansion, along with the smaller projects in support of those big two, will make skiing Winter Park completely different on that side of the mountain, while preserving the experience of the legendary Parson Bull and Mary Jane territories. In all likelihood, we won't see everything in this master plan come to fruition, but one can hope. Let me know what you all think down below. As always, please put any questions down below as well. Thank you all so much for watching. All my love, I'm out.